back, and Crystal's going to jump in real quick for day 3. Let's get her in. Hey, welcome back. Look how pretty you look.
Oh, thank you. You look pretty too, Tony.
You have a beautiful shine on day 3, the last day of this Best You Expo here in Miami. How exciting.
Yes.
So you got your breakfast, your coffee, you're ready for another great day?
Well, I don't do coffee, but I do have my smoothie waiting for me. In another couple hours, I'll grab it.
So you're sharing today. What time are you sharing at?
At 12.
At 12. Are you ready for that?
I am. I'm really excited. Really excited.
Excited. We're going to be bouncing all over today. I'm going to be headed over to the main stage and introducing Bernardo for his share at the end of the day, as well as closing David Fagan, who's the co-host on the main stage. I'll also be doing the red carpet over there on the main stage. So I'm going to spend a lot of time over there.
Right.
And a lot of time here. We've got a lot of prizes we've given away, more to give away today, which will be announced tomorrow. But what time are we announcing yesterday's winners?
It's in the afternoon. We both have the schedule. You know, there's like so much going on. So.
16:55, I think it is. So military time.
Bernardo's join us for that, right?
Bernardo's coming. Yeah, he's going to help us make those announcements and say hi to everybody here on the stage. Do you know what the weather's like in Miami?
Well, I was just about to look it up.
I'm just throwing everything at it.
It's 63. It's getting cooler each day because now the high is only going to be 68. So we went from the high of 73 to the high of 71, and now the high is 68 here in Miami.
I love it, but it's Miami. You can't beat Miami. We're excited to be here. This is the Best You Expo. This is the 3rd day. This is going to be a little wrap-up show for us at the end, and then we're also going to talk about what we just experienced the last 2 days. But you know what? I got to tell you, in about 2 or 3 weeks, we've got the next expo already. It's in London, England. I mean, on the 5th of February in London, England. Now, those hours are going to be different for me in LA. I don't know that I'm going to be part of that because that would start at midnight my time and go till 8 in the morning. But they do say—
Either you're committed or you're not, Tony. Either you're committed or you're not.
Okay, I need to be committed. We'll see how that one plays
Ladies and gentlemen, again, so Tony did have to get up earlier than the rest of everyone else because in Spain it's later in the evening, and I'm in Arizona, and so I'm an hour later. So he has been a trooper. So I want to give you a hand, Tony.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I've been getting up at 5 o'clock every day, whether I want to or not. That's just how you do this. But if I have to get up at midnight and stay up till 8 a.m., that's 3rd shift here, which I can do. I've done before when I was back in the day. That's just what we did. So I'll just go back to old school with water, of course, without the other substance.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of great speakers coming up. Do you have that list right in front of us? I can help with that. I have mine as well.
Yeah, I do.
I want to save your voice for your share today. So
Thank you.
I'll do some heavy lifting. Our first speaker is Gunther Mueller. He's an optimal health strategist speaker, having worked closely with over 300 medical professionals across the country for almost a decade now. Gunther has a unique perspective of understanding the strategies and therapies leading towards optimal health. Since founding Vibrant Health Gurus, and hosting its radio show and podcast, he has many opportunities to share his message of feeling young, healthy, and vibrant again, both domestically and internationally. And then he's coming up, and I'll do the next part when we actually have him on stage. And then guess who's next? I kind of recognize this name because it spells Cry Style. So we'll save your bio, because that's you, for when we get you on stage. How about that? Then we have Amy Lin. Amy was born in Taiwan, and her family is immigrated to the U.S. when she was about 13 years old. And growing up in a family of educators, she has learned the value of contribution at a very young age. Her life's purpose is to help others to become the best versions of themselves through personal development. And after being mentored by Bob Proctor, who we all love, Chicken Soup for the Soul, for 18 months, she has created her own coaching company called the Opulent Academy, a results-based organization with educational programs that focus on the power of the mind. She's also currently working on publishing 2 books where she will be sharing her journey with the intent to inspire more people to follow their passions and to start living an opulent life. And that's Amy Lin. She's coming up. And then after Amy is Pablo. We got Pablo coming up. Pablo Rosario is a CEO founder of Co-Creation Station. a mastermind aficionado and co-creator, Pablo managed a successful web startup for almost 5 years in Ecuador before directing 5 startups simultaneously in the US while getting a Master's of Science degree in an accelerated program. I love that. Pablo's passionate about optimization, automation, and gamification, which is really big right now. He is focused on a 10x growth and agile methodologies. Big tech companies have trusted his expertise, like Disney Interactive, Adobe, and Google, names we've all heard of, I'm sure. Pablo's life mission is now to help others discover their calling, doing what they love, and co-creating with others for exponential growth and abundance for all. I love that. That's Pablo Rosario coming up. And then we have Vicky Shinetti. In the last 4 years, she's had executed over 1,000 traditional and non-traditional transactions ranging from flips, buys, and holds, notes, reps, partials, and wholesales of single-family residuals, multifamily, storage units, mobile home parks, retail and commercial buildings, all combining over, listen to this number, $72 million in real estate. Vicky is amazing. Currently, she's the author of Investing Real Estate Secrets, great book launched in August of 2019. Her most recent accomplishment is the product Wealth and Empowerment, Real Estate for Financial Freedom. She's going to talk all about that. Her goal is to use her product and all of the knowledge that she's gained over the last few years to help at least 1 million people. So that's Vicky, excited for her. And of course, Bethany London, who we had to cut short, broke my heart, and I've been talking to her on social media.
I know.
But she's coming back. She's very excited. She said it actually made people want more. So she thinks that actually was a blessing for her. So we're really excited to have her back. Bethany has been quoted as a billionaire catalyst coach because of her intuitive insight, clairvoyancy, being psychic, I guess is a very simple way to put it, clarity for inspired action and opportunity in creating ways, working with an 8+ figure company. We want to get her to that 9 and 10. That's our goal. Company CEO and individuals. London goes behind the physical state and tunes into the energetic soul. She sees the unseen and creates shifts if there's any blocks, misalignments, unmet needs present. London's mission is supporting others in experiencing freedom by knowing their truth. Hence, her recent results-driven book, Get Aligned Now. So that's Bethany. We're really excited to bring her back.
Yeah. You remember that you did the shift statement for her.
I did, and you know what? Guess who's on stage, the main stage? A billionaire. We've got Jeff over there, Jeff Hoffman from Priceline. So we're going to try to make that connection for her just in the Best You family, because that's what we do here. We connect people.
Well, one of the things that she said when she was speaking was about, there's a little bit of feedback. One of the things that she said when she was speaking was that, she was not a billionaire, right? And so she said, well, maybe one day. And you were like, well, at least we can connect you with some as well.
Well, I gave her a list of 10 billionaires that I know personally. So not that I get any of their money or any of their benefits, but we know them. We meet them in all these networking events and on these stages.
Right.
Being Richard Branson. And she's like, oh my God, that would be the one billionaire that she'd really be like starstruck over. I said, well, you might want to get starstruck over Jeff, because Jeff's amazing and he's part of the Best You family. And he's here today on the main stage. If you guys want to check him out, make sure you check that out. So we've got a couple more speakers today. We got quite a few speakers. Would you like me to finish the last two?
I would.
Okay, so we've got Angelina Christopher. Angelina Christopher is a transformational coach and energy healer based out of Los Angeles, California, my home, where I love, where she resides with her husband and 3 children. She discovered her life purpose by teaching happiness practices to those who have suffered trauma and struggle with depression and anxiety. A lot of us can relate to that currently. Mentored personally by Marcy Shimoff, who co-wrote 6 of the Chicken Soups for the Soul books, which is an amazing series, and a book, Happy for No Reason. Oh, I love that title, Happy for Just No Reason. Her life's work is driven by a deep desire to help others find tangible joy instead of simply just existing. In this remarkable work that has derived from studying the happiest 100 people in the world, I'd like to know who those people are. The practices she teaches have been significantly proven to raise your happiness level regardless of your circumstances. Having endured years of severe PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and genetic depression, which basically she's saying she was born with, her her lively perspective is proof that hope exists in building a future of meaningful happiness, which is within each of us and within reach. So that's Angelina Christopher. And then I think finally, we have Aaron Antillon. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I think I did. Aaron Antillon. Aaron is a CEO and of Build a Legacy International, a firm dedicated to working with high-achieving leaders who want to transition from leading followers to leading leaders. I love that. I always say the Ivy League schools teach leaders to lead, and the undergrads teach you how to be a great employee, and the high school dropouts run the world. That's my little joke for the day. For over 15 years, Aaron has been training and developing high-performing leaders from major corporations, small businesses, and nonprofits with proven tools to enable them to gain and retain their dream clients. His goal-oriented outlook of life along with his passion for helping others lead to reach their fullest potential. We're building healthy relationships is why Aaron has become the go-to, in all caps, for leading leaders. Aaron resides in Dallas, Fort Worth, with his wife, Monica, for over 23 years. Congratulations on that. And his daughter, Ashlyn Joy, and Ava Faith. Lovely names. In his free time, he enjoys playing golf and making memories with his family. And with that, those are our speakers for today. Quite a few great speakers here on the MMI stage. So what do you think about that? That was a mouthful.
It really was. It really was. Thank you for doing that. And one of the things that we want to mention is that we will be announcing more winners today. We announced a whole slew of them. That's a really great word, right? A whole slew of them yesterday, and we have several lists today. And then with this being the last day of the Best You Expo Miami, we will be just sending out emails as well as posting on the Facebook and other media, the ones who won today, which would be, they will pull some more names tonight. So don't worry if you don't hear your name today, if you didn't hear it yesterday, there's still a chance that you're going to win big because there's so many giveaways.
$106,000 and growing. We've still got a whole nother day of growing more value to the giveaways. Right. These are all services, books, advice, all sorts of wonderful things they're giving. Television stations, opportunities to get on our stage. Bernardo's giving personally probably $50,000 worth of stuff away as well. So half of the giveaways is from Bernardo himself, but the other half is from wonderful speakers.
There's like 1,000 copies of his book, The Question, that's being given away. And so we don't want to forget that. And a coaching session. I think it's like $5,000-$6,000 coaching session with Lisa Nichols.
Yeah, he's giving 100 of those away too. So very generous. And oh my God, Lisa just killed it yesterday on the main stage. I don't know if you had a chance to see that, but that's probably now on the Best You app. So if you guys go to any smart television, you can check out some of the stuff you may have missed, or if you want to just see it again. But she was on fire. Mm-hmm. So great to have Lisa Nichols and the family from The Secret and many other stages as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a great day planned. We've got a red carpet coming up. If you guys are watching us and actually want to get some camera time or want to share your experience at the Best You this weekend and let us know what you enjoyed and your speakers and what you'd like to contribute to the world, you can actually get live on camera with us. That goes forever in the Ethernet onto our Best You application on our television station. And we'll talk a little bit about what the television station looks like, but you too can come join us on the red carpet. So I think that time is at 17:30 Miami time. So that you take 12 away from that, that gives you 5:30 Miami. It gives you 3 from that for LA, which gives you 2:30. So there's my math for the day. So whatever time zone you're in, just make sure you go to the main stage, and I'll be hosting the red carpet with Bernardo over there. And then
the other red carpet we did though, Tony, a lot of people were not even from the United States.
Oh, so, this is a global.
Yeah, so I don't know how you're going to do all of that math, but I just wanted to remind you that our most recent red carpet on the first day, actually, we had people from everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. It's pretty cool to be able to reach the world and be in 10 places at once. You watch enough Star Trek and you wonder if you're ever going to get there in your lifetime. And I think we're here. I think literally, yeah. We've got jetpacks, flying cars. We've got underground tunnels. We've got super city buildings and going up in Mars. We're actually able to be and teleport ourselves from place to place to place. So I think we've arrived into the future. Welcome to the future.
So Tony.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
We've had count them, two full days of the best you. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything that just like pops out, stands out, just something that has really impacted you over the last couple of days? Because you've been everywhere. I'm like, where's Tony? No, just
I even peeked into the Spanish speaking stage. I tried to wear my little Miami 1970s getup. Today's getup's blue, but still got the white hat. You know what? Just actually co-hosting with you. I got to be honest. Co-hosting, because I usually host by myself. So having someone to bounce off of was definitely a fun experience. It takes a little of the pressure trying to get everything in, because there's, we don't take ourselves too serious, but this is a serious platform. It does a lot of wonderful things, but I take myself serious, as you can tell. But really, co-hosting with you is fun because you really grounded this whole experience on the MMI stage. So it was, I'm being honest, some of the great speakers, I got to tell you, Lisa Nichols was amazing over on the main stage. Bernardo's always fun. Doing the red carpet and meeting people that are not part of the event, but are at the event. That's been great. And then coming up, Jeff Hoffman. I mean, Jeff's a dear friend, and it's great to see him share. He's worth $1 billion+, and yet he contributes his time to help other people. He's a billionaire. And guess how he became a billionaire? He didn't want to wait in line. He was like, why do I have to wait in line? And he came up with a way that he didn't have to wait in line, nor do you have to wait in line, with Priceline.com is one of his many creations. So you guys probably.
And he does a lot in entertainment. Yeah, we talk from time to time, and he's been heavily involved in a number of the things that we do. And you'll be hearing more about innovation when I give my talk. But him, Pitbull, and some of the initiatives they're doing with the youth. He even volunteered the last time that I talked to him. He's like, well, let me know the next time that you go, do some of the youth initiatives you're talking about. I'll go with you. Well, and even still during the pandemic, but he did say he would go with me. And so he's just a great guy. Well,
share what the best youth with a TH is, because that's a great transition for you.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Did I do that? Tony, you can't make me laugh. I have to save my voice.
Good luck.
But we'll end up playing the commercial sometime today too. But it's saying like, who will impact the world next, or who's actually impacting the world right now? And there's a number of millionaires and maybe even a few billionaires actually that started out between the ages of 8 and 20. And that is the range that we have for the Best Youth Expo that's going to be June 12th and 13th. And so if you are an innovator or you're an influencer, whether it's online or otherwise, or if you've been bullied or you had self-confidence issues, but you're doing okay now and you're thriving and helping other people, we want to hear your story. So this is a global event. And I'm really excited about it because we get to also have the Spanish stage there and all the different time zones. And it's going to be really, really exciting, really exciting.
And that age range is for people that are on stage, but that doesn't mean all age ranges can't watch it. So everybody can
watch it. Yeah. And the Bible actually says, and a little child shall lead them. And so it is where, we can learn a lot from anyone of any age. And again, if you have something to say, I am going to take some notes, okay? No matter how old or young you are. So
absolutely.
June 12th and 13th.
Yeah, Michael Beckwith from Agape and The Secret always says it takes a child to raise it takes a village to raise a child, but a child to raise a village, the consciousness of the village. So very exciting. So I literally just missed it by a year or two, I think, to be a speaker on that stage. Yeah.
Okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, he's saying he's 7 years old because it starts at 8. He's not old enough yet. Okay.
I see what you're saying. You got the other way. I love that.
Not that he's 21. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
You're seeing my inner child come out, are you? Don't mistake this body as my age. My old soul, baby, is a young soul, but it's an old soul in a young soul's body. So let's not get it twisted. Oh, it's going to be fun. One more day in Miami. And then in about 2 or 3 weeks, we're over to London and then over to Dubai. So we're just traveling the globe. Very cool.
And our favorite person is back. He has been a trooper all 3 days, making sure that he stays with MMI. And Daryl Stern, we love you. Thank you for being with us. Masters, mentors, and influencers, of which he already spoke. And he speaks everywhere. He's such an amazing person. So And I think you might even see yourself a little bit later. I'm not going to give it all away, but
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of times I actually pull our stage directors on stage. So, Mr. Stage Director, you might want to put some clothes on because I might at any given time bring you on stage. And I'm totally joking because in COVID, we're on Zoom and we're on StreamYard. You never know. We know what we look like from here up, don't we? But we don't know what's going on.
You never know what Tony's going to say.
It's
That's
called
what
the dark side of the moon. You don't know what's on the dark side of the moon.
This is the Tony notebook. Okay, don't spit your water out.
Well, that's your shirt company, your new shirt line, yes?
No, this is the notebook for, what would Tony say? They have, what would Jesus do? I have what would Tony say, or what did Tony say? Oh my gosh, did you just say that? Go put some clothes on. We are here at Best You Expo, Miami, where it is a nice 63 crisp degrees right now. That might not be crisp to some people, but when you're in Arizona where it gets up to 3 digits. Okay, so one time I took a picture of my temperature on my dashboard. Do you want to guess what it said?
If it was in the summer, like 121, 119?
132.
Oh, you die in that weather. That's not livable.
That was the dashboard. So that was probably inside the car where you can like cook and bake and stuff. It just was not cool.
Well, that's why you don't leave animals in your car because they have that coat on top of that. It's just a second.
Yeah.
So little PSA for animals, don't leave them in your car if it's hot. Do you speak any Spanish?
I do not. I can count.
You're like, I don't. Oh, you can count?
I do not. I do not.
So we've got about, I don't know, another 4 minutes or so before we go to a commercial break, which if we could play the commercial that's the best youth, that would be a great transition to kind of.
That would be great, producer. Can you play that?
Yeah, that'd be great. So about 4 minutes. So we've got, I told you, a lot of great speakers coming up. We've got a lot of great prizes still to give away and to be announced from yesterday and the other day. We're going to do it in 2 sections here. We've got some red carpets. We've got a lot more prizes to give away. Tomorrow will be announced in your emails as well. And then what are you going to do for the 2 weeks you have off before you actually are going to go to London and do the night hours like me? That's the third shift, baby.
Well, I don't know if you know the little joke, about Jamaicans having a bunch of jobs.
And they're so lazy. I do know that.
Yeah, so I'm Jamaican. I have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jobs, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 multiple streams of income going on over here. So I have things to do. Trust me.
Oh, I love it! I love it! I love it! Well, you've been listening to our speakers because that's how you get rich: is multiple streams. While you're sleeping, you're making money. So let your work for you.
Right.
Well, very exciting. Well, why don't we throw it to a couple commercials? We'll come back at the top of the hour with our first guest. We have Gunther, I think. Gunther's our first guest. I'm going to check to see if he makes it to the green room. And if he doesn't, we've got a couple of videos ready for you until he does. So, all right.
And I'll be turning it over to you because I'll be getting ready.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys, we're going to have another great day here in Miami. Thanks for watching. Send us some texts and some emails. Let us know you're there. We'll be right back after this message.
Ahora, las exposiciones virtuales de desarrollo personal y profesional de Best You se llevarán a cabo a nivel mundial en 2020 y 2021. Si eres un coach, un orador motivacional, un terapeuta y buscas transformar tu negocio, construir una comunidad, generar clientes de una audiencia global, esta es la oportunidad para ti. Ahora, es tu oportunidad de unir fuerzas con The Best You, una de las marcas de desarrollo personal más grandes del planeta. Reserva tu espacio para hablar, tu stand virtual y boletos o tickets para asistir ahora.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
What do you think the best skills are? What should people be looking at?
Well, I think young people really should learn about money. to start with before they get too far in debt. That's just a personal thing with me. I know that I had children. I wish I'd have done a better job. But that people should learn how to start saving when they're very young, so that they can get through hard times. And they should always keep in mind that your goal can be to compete with somebody for a job that already exists. But man, if you look at how fast knowledge is changing, who knows? We may not have cars in the future, so being an auto worker may not be the best plan. And so no matter what job you do get or what job you're planning on, you should always be looking at what the forefront of the industries is. You should see the future coming. It's not like a big secret. There are magazines and the web and everything, and that it was obvious that selling computer programs was going to be a big business. And then as the net started growing, that there were jobs like web design and all of these things that, you should be constantly thinking, about what it is that you enjoy so much that you want to become involved in being at the beginning of it. You want to learn what you can learn about it and start looking into the future, so that, instead of just selling yourself by the hour, you could conceive of starting a company. If you look at how technology changes, it's going to change the application in the marketplace. And having social skills, I don't care what job or where you go, your ability to be persuasive is important. Because you may be really good at something, but if you can't convince anybody of that, they'll hire somebody else. And people don't always hire the best person. It just doesn't happen. But they will hire probably the most persuasive person. So, if you learn to deal with money without believing that it's always going to be there, you got to have that little thing where you put nest eggs aside for those dark times. If they aren't dark times, that just means that you're way ahead of the game. Who knows? You might have enough money to invest in yourself, and believing that that your horizon of the future has to be bigger than you can conceive of. See, every successful businessman I've ever talked to, and everybody who's at the top of their field, went into that field first wanting to learn what somebody else knew. And then somewhere along the line, they believed that they could exceed the limits of what others believed about them. That people would go, well, you start in this company, you work really hard. If you're here for 40 years, you could rise to middle management, right? And some people hear that as something that says, that's your path in life. And some people go, well, maybe this isn't the right company, and maybe this guy's wrong. Maybe I could be running this company in 5 years. If I thought about it right, I had enough good ideas. And when you build beliefs about yourself that said, no matter how hard it is right now, there could be a place where all of this accelerates. And you start looking for those opportunities so you don't miss them when they come along.
Now, the Best You Personal and Professional Development Virtual Expos are happening globally in 2020 and 2021. If you are a coach, a motivational speaker, a therapist, and are looking to transform your business, build a community, and generate customers from a global audience, this is the opportunity for you. Now is your chance to join forces with the Best You, one of the largest personal development brands on the planet. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now.
All right, we're back. So we don't see Gunther in the green room. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it to a couple videos for you, and then we're going to come right back and explain where we're headed. A lot of great speakers coming up. So go ahead and hit those videos.
Hi, I'm Bernardo Moya, and welcome to Inspiring People. Today, I'm in Scottsdale. I'm in Joe Polish's studio, and I'm delighted to have Joe Polish, who's the founder of the Genius Network marketing guru and entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to be here with you.
Joe, thank you so much for sparing some time for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell me about your early years. Where are you from? Where were you born?
Well, I'll try to do, I can ramble on about this because there's a lot, but I lived in all kinds of different places as a kid. Quick background, my mother, she died when I was 4 years old. She was a former nun. So before we get into any jokes on that, but she left the convent because she was ill, and she met my father in church. They ended up getting married, and wonderful woman. She wrote some of the first books teaching children how to read using the phonetic method. Her books to this day are still in use in some schools, and helped teach millions of children how to read. When my mother died, my father was incredibly tormented. He lost the love of his life, and he never recovered from it. And so my whole childhood, we lived in different parts of Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico, and just traveled around. So my father was a locksmith, and so he never made a lot of money, and it was a hard business. And so as soon as he had kind of gotten stabilized and established himself, he would uproot and we would move again. And I was really shy, was really introverted. I was a skinny kid and had a hard time meeting people. Went to Catholic church, which in many ways probably didn't serve me very well. As a kid, lots of bad things happened. I was just kind of a scared kid. And so I also had a situation where a person molested me when I was a kid between the ages of 8 to 10 several times. And I was left with a ton of shame, not knowing how to make any sense of that. And that ended up resulting in me in my teens starting to use drugs. First started drinking, smoking pot, then taking speed, LSD, snorting cocaine, snorting crystal meth. And, when I was at my worst state, I was 18 years old, freebasing cocaine. And at my worst state, I weighed 105 pounds because I had been freebasing cocaine for, 3 months straight every day. And I nearly died. So you can imagine a male who's 5'10", weighs 105 pounds, is pretty skinny. And so my life was a wreck. And I ended up moving out of Arizona and living in a trailer for 2 years with my father, and literally getting clean, remove myself from the environment, remove myself from all the relationships, everything, because in those situations you're dealing drugs to, get you to support your drug habit.
How old were you then?
I was 18 years old.
18.
Yeah. So I went to New Mexico and I ended up getting clean, got a job working at a health club, started selling gym memberships, and started getting into taking care of myself and fitness. And I met a person in this gym where I was doing sales. And that's my first introduction really to, legitimate sales, I guess. And I ended up meeting a guy who ran a mental hospital. And so they hired me as a mental health tech. And so I started driving the patients to AA meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA meetings, Narcotics Anonymous. And I would sit in on these meetings, never realizing later in my adult life how valuable that community would become to me, and how much it taught me about one of the ways to overcome the worst stresses in life is literally to put yourself in a situation where people believe in you more than you may believe in yourself.
So is that what inspired you? Was that kind of the turning point for your life then?
That was a turning point on a personal level. It didn't teach me anything on how to run a company, but what it did was it gave me a foundation and some stability, and the exercise did a lot of things too, because when it comes to my negative things and self-sabotage as a kid. So I wish I could tell some inspiring story of like great mentors that it encouraged me, but the great mentors that encouraged me, I found in books. And then I found in cassette tapes, back then, because, there was no internet back then. And as you know, and so I learned through the experiences of other people. So I started reading and I started listening to Earl Nightingale and, Tony Robbins, who of course now Tony's a dear friend of mine, but back then, the first introduction into personal development kind of became my virtual mentor, in the same way that, what you produce for the world to encourage people from afar so they can hear about, the stories of other people, kind of like what we're doing now. I just found whatever I could that was available back then and used that to keep myself in an upstate, because I had a lot of mountains that I had to climb out of, and I had a lot of trauma that I didn't know how to deal with. And even to this day, I mean, there's shrapnel in my psyche that was left from a lot of the things that happened.
So how long were you doing what you were doing then? You know, driving people and trying to help them. How long were you kind of in that job, or what you were doing then?
Well, so that was only about a 2-year period. And then what
Okay.
happened is as I came back to Arizona, I mean, by no means did I have my act, quote unquote, together. But what I did have was I wasn't doing drugs anymore, and I was working out and I was exercising. And there's this proverb that I really love, which is, he who has their health has 1,000 dreams. He who does not have their health has only one. Or you can say whoever has their health who does not have their health has, you know, like they want to get healthy. You can't have goals if you're laid up in a hospital bed, if you're on the streets as a drug addict. I mean, your life is desperate. You're at the survival stage. So what I did is I got myself out of the survival stages, and then I started to have aspirations. I started to take care of myself and figure out what am I going to do for a career. And so when I came back to Arizona, I had a friend who was running a carpet cleaning company, and he talked me into literally taking the $1,500 that I had saved up and buying a portable steam cleaner, getting some business cards made that said professional carpet and upholstery cleaner. And voila, I'm partners with this guy. And the challenge was this guy was literally getting drunk and wasted every night. You know, I'd quit partying, but he did not. And so here I was with this, you know, carpet cleaning equipment and trying to figure out, well, what the hell do I do? So that was in late 1989, early 1990. And so for 2 years, I basically lived off credit cards trying to figure out how to make this carpet cleaning business.
How old were you then, more or less?
Oh boy, that was, I must have been 22,
Okay.
23, yeah. And when I started, I'm trying to piece it all together now because I'm 49 years old now. But basically, that's what I was doing. I got in this carpet cleaning business, and I didn't know anything about marketing, because what I do today is I've taught tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people, if you factor in all my podcasts and stuff that are out there, on how to better position and market themselves. But I didn't even know what the word marketing meant back then. So here I was with this carpet cleaning business, and I had this desire to figure out how to, be successful and go and make it work. So this story that I do tell, which was the big turning point for me, the mentor for me was, I had this carpet cleaning business. I was struggling. I had gotten certified. I was trained. I did a good job. I understood the technical skills of the business. And I had another friend from high school who invited me to go jet skiing in a lake that's, close here in Arizona called Saguaro Lake. Like the cactus. I know they have a ton of those in London, right? So anyway, he said, do you want to go jet skiing? I said, when you're in debt, you're not really thinking about how to have fun. You're thinking about the bills you got to pay. Exactly. Are you going to eat? It's you're not in the best state of mind when you have no discretionary income. And I said, no, I just got a lot of work to do, because I was just up against the wall. And he said, well, one of the guys that owns the jet skis is a multi-million-dollar real estate investor. You might be able to learn something from him. And so that piqued my interest. And I said, yeah, I'll go then. So I, drive out in this beat up pickup truck out to Saguaro Lake, meet them there. And so this guy has 2 jet skis, one of his friends with him, and then I have my friend Pat. And when I finally had an opportunity to sit on the end of a tailgate of this pickup truck with this guy, and I started talking to him and say, yeah, I hear you do really well, and I have this small carpet cleaning business and trying to, tried to make it work for a couple of years. It's really tough business, and I'm wondering if you have any recommendations of another industry that I could go into where I could make, good money. And he said, well, is there anyone in your business, doing well? And I said, well, yeah, there's a couple companies in Phoenix that do over $1 million a year. To me, that's a lot of money. And he said, well, if there's other people in your industry making money and you're not, there's nothing wrong with the business you're in. There's something wrong with you. And I said, well, no, a lot of these companies do bait and switch advertising. They use low prices to get into a home, and then they high pressure people. I don't do anything like that. I treat everyone really well. I'm trained, I'm certified, I do a good job. But a lot of these companies, they've been around for years, they're established, and I'm relatively new, only a couple of years into the business. And he said, well, young man, he goes, you're like most people. You think the grass is always greener on the other side. And he said, what's going to happen if you try to go into another business or seek out another opportunity, what you're going to do is spend another 6 months, another year, another 2 years learning the technical skills of another business, so you can go out and repeat the same bad business habits that have caused you to be a failure like the one you're in right now. And I was like, well, shit, that's not the motivational speech I wanted. But what he said, he goes, you need to learn fundamental business skills. And once you learn these fundamental business skills and you learn how to make a business work, then you can go into any business and do, relatively well, assuming it's an industry that's either growing or, which is almost any industry if you really know what you're doing. That if it's something that people want.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're not going to go in the horse and buggy business, that there's certain industries that are disruptive. I mean, I wouldn't want to become a taxi cab driver right now, because of things like Uber and Lyft. But the point is there were a lot of people making a lot of money. So what it did for me, that was the most impactful conversation I had that I could relate to the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. What I just said is something that is not that quote unquote profound, but it's profound if someone hears it.
What did that trigger?
Well, that I'm not entitled to anything and that I'm 100% responsible for my success in my own life.
Yep.
So I drove away sunburnt, crispy, and saying, you know what, I live in America. This to me is a fantastic country. There's a lot of freedom. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. During my high school graduation, I looked over the fence while I was freebasing cocaine with a friend, while the class of '86, which is the year I graduated, was in the football, arena, not really an arena, but at the field. That's where everyone was graduating, and I watched my graduating class while I was high on cocaine. I didn't even walk. I was that, and what it did for me was, just realize, well, yeah, I'm not the most educated guy in the world. I don't have a college degree in anything. I'm doing manual labor, but there's other people that are making money way more than me that don't seem to have the integrity that I felt to have.
What did you do, Joe?
I said, I'm going to learn how to do what other people are doing. Other people obviously have figured this out, and I don't know what I'm doing. So that put me on my steps of reading. And one of the very first books I read that was a big game changer mindset-wise was The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I don't know if you ever read The E-Myth, but that was written years ago. And what he talked about in that book was treat your business as if it was like a turnkey franchise. And how do you systemize it so that if you had to have multiple locations, what would your business need to be set up as so it wasn't dependent upon you? And what Michael would describe in the book is there's three people living inside the entrepreneur. There's the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. And the technician does the work, the manager organizes it, and the entrepreneur is the visionary. And all three of these personalities are arguing with each other, and you got to bring them all together. Now, that book didn't teach me anything about marketing. What it did, though, is it gave me a framework of like, if there's any area of business that you should automate and systemize, it's the one area of business responsible for bringing in the money, which is the sales and marketing divisions. For some reason, my brain read that book and said, if there's any area that is the most important area when it comes to making money, because without money, it doesn't matter how good of a manager you are. If you got no if you got no business to manage, I could have the most organized van, the best computer system, the best delivery of carpet cleaning, but if I have no carpet cleaning jobs, it's irrelevant. So it got me thinking, how do I actually make more sales and marketing happen? So when I was given my first newsletter written by a guy by the name of Gary Halbert, who was a copywriter, and I read this line in there that said, you need to can and clone yourself because you could be the best salesperson in the world, but you're limited by the clock. You can only talk to so many people in a given day. Like if me and you needed to go out and do sales today, and all we could do is talk to people one-on-one, both me and you, I'm sure, are pretty effective at communicating and talking to people because we've put in a ton of work to hone our skills. However, we can only talk to so many people, but with the right letter, with the right video, with the right message, you can talk to 10, 100, thousands, millions of people. Like right now, as we're sitting here today, 40 to 50,000 people are going to listen to an hour of me talking about something on one of my marketing podcasts or one of my business podcasts because I've canned and cloned myself. Now, to take that to marketing, here I was as a carpet cleaner, just trying to figure out how to make a carpet cleaning business work. But I heard that and I'm like, okay, how do I do that? So I really started studying messaging and writing copy in words, and how do I make advertising work? And then my mind was kind of open for it. And so what I did was I created my first sales letter for carpet cleaning. And now I'm talking about carpet cleaning, but for people listening to this, I'd like to frame this, that if you're not in the carpet cleaning business, you're thinking, well, how does this relate to me? And what I always like to say is that if you sell anything, if you work for a company, wherever you're at in your life, if there's anything that you're trying to get people to become aware of for sale or for not. Like, for instance, everything I'm talking about can be used for nonprofits. I'm Richard Branson's largest fundraiser for Virgin Unite. I've raised, over $4 million using the same sort of strategies I've used to sell carpet cleaning services. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the thing is. So think of, for the person that's hearing this, think of selling as persuasion, as influence. If you're more influential, you're going to be more persuasive. So think of selling as influence, and think of marketing as storytelling. And if you tell a better story, you're going to enroll more people. I just didn't know how to do that with carpet cleaning, and I didn't know how to do it robotically. So I hired a copywriter, people that write words that are persuasive, and I spent a month talking to this guy, trying to teach him about carpet cleaning so that we could use education-based marketing to teach people how to choose a carpet cleaner, because I learned that one of the most ethical and effective ways to sell something to somebody is to teach them what they don't know that they don't know. I'll say that again. It's what people don't know that they don't know that gives you an opportunity, because if people don't know how to hire a carpet cleaner or a graphic designer, or pick a category, a financial advisor, a real estate agent, how to write a book, they're going to always ask, how much do you charge? The number one question out of someone's mouth, if they don't know how to make a buying decision or have no other criteria, is how much you charge. And that's what, whenever someone has somebody asking them, oh, what does one of these things cost, or how much does that service cost? It's because you've given them no other criteria to make a buying decision. And every consumer has a system for buying, which is price. And unless you create a system for selling what it is you're selling, you're always at the mercy of someone's system of buying, which is price. So I created this consumer guide for carpet cleaning. It said, read this guide and discover 7 questions ask a carpet cleaner before you invite them into your home. And what I'm going to do is describe this template so that people listening to this can think, what is it that I sell or offer? I'm a yoga instructor. I'm a massage therapist. I teach guitar lessons. I run a restaurant. Pick your category, consumer's guide to blank, or free report on blank, whatever it is. What I'm saying is formulaic. And now at the time, I created this stuff because I just needed to eat. I needed to survive. I never had any idea that 2 years after I created this, that I would build the largest training organization in the world for carpet and upholstery cleaners, that to this day has over 8,000 cleaning and restoration companies all over the world that have become members. I had no idea that this would generate several $1 billion in revenue for my clients in all kinds of different industries. I was just this dead broke carpet cleaner that needed to eat, and necessity is the mother of invention. So I needed a marketing tool to sell my services, and I just started trying this stuff, and amazingly it worked. So my first sales letter, because you got to remember something that Gary Halbert said, is any problem in the world can be solved with the right sales letter. And I used to think, well, that's not really true. There's a lot of problems that can't be solved with the right sales letter. And the more that I thought about this, I've realized that a sales letter can solve most problems. And it could, certainly if you need a kidney transplant, or you need to find a date, or, you can use this for anything. Words matter. And back then there was no internet. So when I say sales letter, today think of sales letters, webinar, video, podcast. It could be anything, but I'll just use the term sales letter. So my first sales message was a consumer's guide to carpet cleaners. Said 7 questions to ask a carpet cleaner before you invite them into your home, 6 costly misconceptions about carpet cleaning, 8 mistakes to avoid when choosing a carpet cleaner, crawling critters and crud, a guide to the slime, grime, and livestock that's seeping, creeping, and galloping through your carpet, how to avoid 4 carpet cleaning ripoffs. And it was a template. See, how to avoid 4 financial services ripoffs, or 6 questions ask a real estate agent before you list your home with them. These are very formulaic things. And then they would open up this consumer guide, and it said, dear homeowner, choosing a carpet cleaner isn't easy. Why? Because you're bombarded with confusing claims, bad information, near worthless methods, that sort of thing, unqualified technicians. How do you ever find a qualified, competent carpet cleaner? You start by reading this guide, and then it says, with this information, you can make an informed, intelligent decision. And that's when I discovered that's all people want to make, an informed, intelligent decision. Now, they may not say that verbally, but the number one question in all consumers' minds is, who can you trust? Who can I trust? If you're not going to go into a restaurant and order food if you think it's going to poison you. So, that's why you have franchises like McDonald's or some of these places that don't really sell the healthiest food, but there's consistency and people know what they're getting in any part of the world, which is why they're like the biggest restaurant chain. It's certainly not the healthiest food. people know what it is though. And so if you're a business owner, if you're in a job where your role is based on your ability to produce a result, everyone is in sales. Everyone's part of the marketing department, because whatever you're doing, everything is marketing. Everything that I say, you say, anyone says is either designed to attract or to repel. And sometimes you want to repel. So when I was using consumer guides, I was attracting the people I wanted to attract and repelling the ones I didn't. And so once I created this guide, people would call me up and say, how much you charge? I said, well, I've created this consumer guide to carpet cleaning. Let me mail it to you, because we only had snail mail back then. And it'll teach you everything you need to know on how to hire a professional. And then if you'd like to do business with us, there's an offer in there for a free room of carpet cleaning up to 200 square feet. No cost or obligation of any kind. We'll show you how great our services are, and then we'll give you a carpet audit while we're there. And then if you decide you'd like us to do additional areas, we'll give you a quote, and it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. Any services you have, if you're not ecstatic, you get all your money back if you're not happy.
So let's fast forward, Joe, because
Yep.
I want to cover a lot of stuff with you.
Yep.
So obviously it worked,
Yep.
and this was with snail mail, as it was in the past. So obviously you built the database over a period of time, you built customers, and as you said, it became something very successful.
Yeah.
How did you then move into marketing and what you do now? And you created the Genius Network. I mean, fast forward a little bit. I want to know how, obviously you discovered you were good at what you were doing, and how did you, what was
Well,
next?
so first I was a convert of my own system. And once I realized I have a different recipe, that the difference between a $1 bill and a $100 bill is the message on the paper, and it actually worked for me, I thought, wow, there's other people just like me that have the same struggle, the same suffering. They don't know how to do it. I figured this out. Let me sell recipes to these people. And so, you know, you can either be a great chef and just cook food for your family or for yourself, or you can, you know, sell cookbooks, or you can open up a restaurant. I mean, there's a million different ways you can package skill, that you can package knowledge. So the question was, how do I take this success knowledge that I have? And I'll say one last thing just so you can show how I transitioned it. So the consumer guide ended up becoming a 24-hour free recorded message, because if people would call and say, I want my carpets cleaned tomorrow, there wasn't enough time to mail it to them. So I set up a 10-minute free recorded message that said, warning, don't call any carpet cleaner till you listen to this free recorded message. Call anytime, 24 hours a day. And I've created a robot, a salesperson that would work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never complain about a headache. And then I started teaching that to other carpet cleaners. I actually sold the methodology to one guy for $250. I sold him the script to the consumer guide and the free recorded message. And in a year, he ended up generating over $62,000 in additional revenue, because I took him from a half-page phone book ad down to an ad smaller than the size of a business card, quadrupled his sales, because I changed the message. And I realized it's the message on the paper. Paper's expensive, ink's cheap. And so then I started selling it to other carpet cleaners, offering free report on how to, you know, double their business in 6 months or less. And then I started selling a course, and it worked so well. Then in the late 90s, I started licensing my marketing materials to home remodelers, heating, air conditioning, printers, painters, florists, hair and nail salon, hair and nail salons, jewelry, auto sales, and I had millions of dollars of my marketing materials being sold through licensees. And also, going back to the eMyth, Michael Gerber hired me in 1997 to help him with marketing the eMyth Academy. And here's a guy that I read his book several years earlier, and then he hires me, and he told me during that time that in all his years in business at that time, that I was the best day of consulting he had ever done with a marketing consultant. I was this young guy in my 20s, long hair, ponytail, you know, and here I was going from a dead broke carpet cleaner to being this quote unquote marketing guru, even though I don't like the word guru, because I think I'm just some normal guy that put intensive study into the area of marketing. And so I started coaching people. We started doing big events, and all of my marketing was done in niche industries, specific by category. And then Vic Conant, the owner of Nightingale Conant, he approached me in 2004 and asked if I would like to do a marketing program with them. And I said, yeah, I'll do it, as long as you're not going to sell my marketing program for less than $300 to $500, because it's going to be better than any other marketing program, in my opinion, that has been done. And I want you to utilize my marketing strategies, using free recorded messages, using follow-up thing, because I'm in the relationship business, not the transaction business. Two things that made a huge difference is direct response marketing, using powerful words and copy, for a person that doesn't have an enormous amount of money to throw away on brand building is a far more effective way to build and grow a business. And that secondly, making a continuity sale takes just as much effort as a singular sale. So sell things in a way so that people have a relationship with you. They don't just buy from you once and then you have to find someone else. So keep giving people value, because money earned ethically is a byproduct of value creation. So I started doing general marketing stuff, because one of my first successful clients was a guy named Bill Phillips, who wrote the book called Body for Life in the late 90s. And I gave him an idea to distribute a movie that he wanted distributed called Body of Work, and he needed a method. So I suggested he actually donate money to a children's charity. So he picked the Make-A-Wish Foundation because he had done a lot of work with them. And the idea that I gave him that he did a great job of implementing made him the single largest individual contributor in the history of the world for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So he's granted more wishes than any individual. And so he, was doing 60 million a year in revenue. And, about 2 years later, using most of the marketing strategies I had taught him, his company was doing over 200 million a year. And then he ended up selling the company for $300 million. And it was like, it made me realize, wow, the stuff that I've been teaching carpet cleaners applies to anyone. And so fast forward to Genius Network today. In 2006, I started, this $25,000 a year program where I would bring people together, because there's many ways to learn. My preferred way to learn is discussions, because what I've learned in all of the things in my life that have made the most difference, one thing that was always there was a discussion. Now, this doesn't sound very exciting, but either a discussion I had with another individual, like we're having a discussion right now, or a discussion I have with myself. So the self-talk that you have, the discussions you have with yourself, the questions you ask yourself are important. Hanging out with other people and having discussions with smart people. So I wanted my own school that I controlled, because you never want to let a regular education get in the way of a real education, which is adult life. Some people think once they're out of school, they're out of school. What they don't realize is that gives you an opportunity to create your own school. And the schools you pick, the people you pick, are critical to your future, because where someone's going to be a year from now is the books you read, the people you hang out with, and the decisions you make.
Yep.
And so much of that has to do with just who do you hang out with. And so I was always good at bringing people together. Here I was as a kid, the most disconnected individual, doing drugs, because the opposite of addiction is connection. And here I was with this deep desire to connect with other people, because you're either in communication with someone or you're trying to escape. And I wanted to just be deeper connected with people, and I wanted my own school. So I talked to a few of the smartest people that I knew and said, hey, I'm going to actually organize a group. I'm going to charge a lot of money for it, because it's going to, so people that join my group don't cut a check for 25 grand or 100 grand, because I have a $100,000 group called Genius X that I do with Dean Graziosi, who I know you got an interview with. Dean's great. He's my partner in that business. A lot of these people cut a check not for who's going to be in the room, but for who's not going to be in the room. And so I wanted this just for myself. And so I talked to a handful of people, 20 people joined. I never thought I would build it beyond 20 people. And I started doing this thing and realized I would do this if I didn't get paid for it. Here I am with some of the smartest entrepreneurs and marketing minds on the planet. I'm facilitating it. We're talking about amazing stuff. And what I realized about the highest level entrepreneurs is, most of them don't go to seminars. And most really bright people, like that are very successful, running $1 million plus companies, they can sit down by themselves in a coffee shop or somewhere with a napkin and a pen and come up with better ideas in some cases than they can find at some seminars. And so my thinking was, well, one elegant idea is worth more than 1,000 semi-good ideas. So if I'm going to deliver something for 25 grand, it better, these people that are joining don't have any free time. So if I'm going to get them to show up for something and want to keep coming back, I better give them gold coins, not bronze or silver. Like the stuff we need to talk about has to be elegant ideas and elegant solution. It has to be condensed, and it has to make their life easier, because success traps are harder to get out of than failure traps. And so when you reach a certain level of success, you have people that want to throw opportunities at you. And so I had to facilitate that. So I started it, I loved it, and now fast forward to today, it's the highest level marketing group in the world. We've got over 252 people that invest $25,000 a year. Then we have our $100,000 group. And then I have a, to most people's standards, a very expensive seminar called Genius Network Annual Event. It's $10,000 a person. And we sell it out every year, several months in advance of it. And, this year I've got Tony Robbins coming and Randy Zuckerberg from Facebook and Peter Diamandis and Dan Sullivan, who's coached more successful entrepreneurs than anyone. And these are all my friends and clients. And, I've had Richard Branson speak, Steve Forbes, Ariana Huffington, Damon John from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, a lot of people that and we just, bring in amazing minds, and it's basically a tribe of tribal leaders.
But apart from that, that's what you're great at. I mean, they say that if Joe Polish doesn't know them, it's not worth knowing. He's not worth knowing. I mean, you know everyone. You're an amazing network, aren't you, Joe?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say this too, though. There's a lot of people I don't know, and I'm always trying to. And I do know, there's this, I think Dunbar's law, whatever it is, where you can track 150 people, and that's the amount of relationships before your brain explodes or something. I track hundreds of people, so I think I break that one. But here's my thing for connecting, which this woman named Fabienne Fredrickson interviewed me about, because people always ask me, how do you meet all these people? And, I didn't really ever think about it that much, other than I never ask anyone to do something for me without creating value for them first. I don't just, and there's a lot of people that just want to take pictures with famous people. And I'll tell you, I joined a high profile group in early 2000s with Academy Award winning actors and actresses, NFL players, NBA players, famous politicians, a couple billionaires, people that are world leaders for addiction, predominantly sexual addiction. And these are people that couldn't go out publicly and talk about it. And I got to see the people that the world admires in their most broken places. And humans are humans. Humans have challenges. Humans have flaws. And I realized that all human beings have some area where they're desperate, where they're struggling, where they're broken. And if I can somehow bring a smile to their face, I am more interested in reducing suffering at this point in my life than trying to teach someone how to use a marketing strategy. But what I do is I sell people what they want, which is more business, more clients, how to, build their, brand in some cases, how to be a famous book author. But at the end of the day, one of the ways that I hopefully lead them there is introducing them to amazing people that can help them. So the way that I look at relationships and connecting is, how do you connect unique ability capabilities? Because no one wants to go to a seminar. I don't think most people want to read self-help books or attend webinars. What they want is they want results. In order to get results in life, they need capabilities. And the only way that I know to provide people with capabilities is either teach them or connect them with other individuals that have those capabilities. So anyone listening to this, I think of Genius Network not just as like a group that I do, but who's your Genius Network? If you want to be a better parent, who are 8 individuals that are amazing parents that you should talk to? If you want to be in better physical shape, do you need a massage therapist? Do you need a personal trainer? Do you need a nutritionist? Like, who are the people that could guide you? If you want to be a better marketer, do you need a copywriter? Do you need a web designer? Do you need a conversion specialist? Do you need a database person? So I think of Genius Network, or who are the most important people. And the way that I go out and connect with people is I try to be useful, I try to be generous, I try to be giving. Life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. I also operate with, be nice to the people you meet on the way up, they're the same people you meet on the way down. Leave the campfire better off than it was before you showed up. Now, a lot of people pay lip service to this. A lot of people go up on stage and talk about how nice they are and how we need to connect and lifetime value, and then they're assholes to people. They treat waiters like disrespectfully. I mean, the people that become my true friends are how are people that are more powerful treat people that are less powerful than them. You really want to see the character of a person? Anyone could be a nice person when millions are rolling in, when they're famous, when everyone's kissing their ass. Let's see what happens when they're in a hospital bed. Let's see what happens if they get into some sort of trouble. And I would think to myself, because I had someone say this to me, who do you have in your life right now that if you got into trouble financially, that you could call at 3 a.m., no questions asked, and say, I'm in trouble, can I have $25,000? And not saying, well, what are you going to use the $25,000 for? Like, I mean, most people don't have one person. I have dozens of people, not because I'm special, because I operate creating a lot of value. Now, I guess we would have to find that out and really see if my friends.
Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't.
No, but the point, yeah,
I know.
But the thing is, so how do you connect with people? Hell, man, read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Go out and start talking to people. And especially if you're shy and introverted, because a lot of people think I'm this extroverted guy. No, I'm an introvert that forced myself to learn how to go out, because anything that you fear and don't face controls you. Anything that you fear and you take steps to face it, you may not totally control it, but you'll get better at it. There's never been a time in my life when I've been single and I wanted to ask someone out where my heart wasn't beating out of my chest. It's scary. It's intimidating. But you're either moving scared or you're frozen stiff. And so I prefer to move scared.
Joe, what would you say your best assets are?
Best assets. I think today, I have a lot of self-deprecating stuff that I do because I still feel like, I still have the same self-worth issues. I've transcended some of it, but deep down inside, I'm still this, scared kid that worries what people think about me and looks in the mirror and has body image issues and, feels like a not capable person. What my attributes are and what I'm proud about is I have that awareness and I work on it. Secondly, I've developed a lot of gratitude and appreciation for the fact that I've worked really hard and that I have contributed, and I'm very proud of some of the stuff that I have done, and I seem to have a pretty good reputation, and I have lots of wonderful people that say nice things about me and constantly give me appreciation and utilize my stuff. So I really appreciate that. Secondly, I can't think of anything I've done in business where I ever feel like I've slighted someone or ever taken advantage of someone. If someone's ever unhappy with something we sell, I will give them their money back. I'm really proud of what I've been doing with Artists for Addicts. Like I'm now taking my marketing skills and I am applying it to what I think is the greatest global problem in the world, which is addiction. And I started a platform with partners called Artists for Addicts, where we are trying to change the global conversation about how people view addicts and addiction with compassion instead of judgment. And we're selling art as a way to bring in revenue. And then geniusrecovery.com, which at the time I'm talking to you right now, we're getting ready to launch that. And it's going to be a platform that provides people with where to go for communities, where to find everything from 12-step groups. And if someone doesn't like 12-step groups, different communities that are readily available. Most of this will be free because a lot of addicts don't have any money. And we will have videos and audios, and we're going to just curate the very best forms of treatment that have efficacy and stories of people that are struggling with addiction, so we can provide inspiration, encouragement, hope, because hope heals. And so I'm taking my marketing skills, and my passion project is to help people with addiction, because if I had all the money in the world, I would do everything I could to try to take the treatment of addictions out of the hands of the criminal justice system and put it into the hands of a more compassionate industry. Because you're talking in the U.S., almost 1% of the U.S. population is incarcerated. 25% of the world's prisoners are in the U.S. You cannot punish pain out of people. And addiction is a response to trauma. Addiction is a connection disorder. And people are so incredibly disconnected. That's why you see opiate overdoses at the highest they've ever been in human history, because we are living in the most connected society we've ever been in, but we're most disconnected as humans. And if you do not figure out how to manage modern life, it will manage you. And most people can't manage it. So I'm doing my very best to just bring hope and inspiration to people, and that I'm very happy about.
Well, I'm a massive fan of what you do, and I think kind of one of the things that we're trying to bring to the table through the Best You, because personal development is a massive growing industry, evergreen, and obviously growing. Our take on it is that we feel that a lot of people are in it. I call it selfish development.
Yeah.
So they're in it for themselves,
right?
And they're literally just obviously making as much money as they can. But what we're trying to say is that we believe in the Best You, a Better World, that we hold the flag of change. People in personal development hold the flag of change. We are responsible for making sure the world is a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing that. And that's great and beautiful to see, because I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to make sure that not only we inspire others, but also that we are able to educate the people we're educating to go out and make a difference personally, professionally, and globally.
Yeah.
So well done.
Thank you. And let me ask you, out of all the people that you've talked to, all the journey that you're on, what do you think are the attributes of people that really have changed their stripes? The whole thing, can a tiger change its stripes? Actually, humans can. Very hard. Most people don't. And most people, when it comes to personal development, it's like a puzzle. They'll work on the edges. Let's get a new haircut. Let's hire a personal trainer. Let's get a new set of clothes. Let's buy a car, get a house, increase our income. But to go to the core, where you're dealing with trauma, where you're actually rewiring a lot of stuff, where you've done shitty things in the past and you're trying to become a higher integrity person, that requires taking a piece out of the middle of the puzzle, and then every other piece shifts. And it's easy to dabble on the edges, but the people that you have met that have really gone to the core, what do you think is that thirst? I'm always curious to see, especially in the position you're in, when you're around all these people that are and you're reporting all of this and you're sharing some of this. What do you think it is about a human? What do they need to get to in order to make that shift?
You mean people individually, not people that are in the business?
Well, both. It could be either or. Just as a human, like, what does it take for a human to really transform?
Well, I think kind of what's happening is obviously that people are getting to understand the importance of investing in themselves. I just think that, as you said, a lot of the times from a personal point of view, people that are coming into it is quite superficial.
Yeah.
Let me read the book, let me attend the seminar, and then hopefully I'm going to change. I'm going to become this great guy. But they're leaving their family on the journey. They're working for a company that doesn't care. They haven't got kind of like a mission globally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just more worried about people that are actually in the industry, because I
Right.
think that kind of, there's a lot of people in it. They might have come in for the right reasons. I'm not saying not everyone did, but I think they're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I think, you stand out, in my opinion.
Yeah, and let me say something. Well, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And what you remind me of right now, what's going through my head is that a couple things which I really learned by being an addict. You can go to, you send an asshole to an empowerment seminar, you're going to get a more empowered asshole. If you send someone that really wants to work on the character of their person, then they're going to use that, and that's their goal, and that's their objective, to actually increase their level of consciousness. Because I even say, like, what I'm saying right now, 5 years from now, I'll be like, what the hell was I thinking? So here I am in my life, just trying to increase my level of consciousness, and I want to respond to life, not react to life. And one of the reasons I do yoga on a regular basis, it just increases the space between reacting and responding. And the more that I can respond to life, the more I function better. And so a couple of things. One, I believe you're as sick as your secrets. And you can consume a ton of personal development. You can intellectually do all the exercises, but if you're traumatized, if you're shameful, you've got to get into that core. The issues are in the tissues. You got to get into the body to absorb a bunch of intellectual personal development, but not really work on yourself physically, not really work, practice it. The things that actually change you from the inside are critical. And I have read over 1,000 books. I've been to more seminars than most people I know. I've invested over $2 million on my marketing and business education, and I've spent over $500,000 on recovery related stuff. And I used to pay money to hire the best therapist as a way to convince myself I was actually doing the work, when I would get more results going to a 12-step group that they don't even charge you for. It's just free, sitting there with broken individuals, just, sharing mutual suffering and sharing experience, strength, and hope. And what I realize is that unlearning, in many cases, is more important than learning. So while people are on their learning journeys, a lot of the things that prevent you from getting what you want is what you need to unlearn, because winners find ways and losers find ways. And if your life is winning, there are certain things you're doing right now. If you're winning at business, if you're winning at your relationships, you're doing things that are causing you to win. And it's good to be aware of it and to reverse engineer it. And if you're not winning, find people that are winning and just talk with them, meet them, read their books, see what they're doing, and apply it. And people that are losing, I can learn so much from people that are losing in life. And I don't mean they're losers. What I mean is that, some people's purpose in life is to serve as a bad example. And so part of like a to-do list is more important. A not to-do list is more important than a to-do list in many cases. So it's not what you say yes to, It's what you say no to, because everything you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. If you say yes to being on Facebook for 2 hours, you might be saying no to spending that time with your children. If you're going to say yes to watching TV, you're going to say no to, maybe exercise. And if you say yes to staying up late, surfing the internet or looking at porn online, you're saying no to sleeping. So that, there's a lot of stuff that people say yes to that isn't serving them, and they wonder why their life is not where they're at. And I'll tell you, it's not a choice at all, because sometimes these are compulsions, which is what addiction is. So yeah, I think what you're doing and what you're providing, people can learn so much just by absorbing the lessons that people are saying, but don't just hear them. You have to pick people that you resonate with, things that you hear, and instead of going shallow with it, go deep. And if there's anything I did, I went really deep with marketing, and I learned it, I applied it, I got a result, and it's changed my life, and it's changed the lives of tens of thousands of other people too.
I mean, I think unfortunately a lot of people go through their life without a true purpose. And I think kind of like, understanding what your purpose is important. Asking yourself, what are you actually here for? And then just think what your regrets are going to be if in 5 or 6 years from now, or it might be tomorrow. I mean, people tend to forget that we're mortal and we can, be out of here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So just understand our mortality, I think, should give us sufficient clarity to basically take the necessary steps to take action.
I agree.
Okay, so what's next for Joe? Because I think what you do is amazing. But what's next? You told us about the projects you're working on, but what's next?
What's next for me is just keep myself fit. Okay, treat myself like the $1 million racehorse. Because if you had a racehorse and that horse's job was to win races, you would not train it, overtrain it. You wouldn't shovel fast food down its throat. You wouldn't work it to death. You'd really take care of that horse. Give it the best training, give it sleep, give it relaxation, give it rest, give it the best nutrition you could, mentally, emotionally, physically, and that horse would win $1 million races. So for me, take care of myself as best I can, knowing that I'm compulsive, knowing that I've got this type A personality, knowing that I, by myself, will make bad decisions. So the best thing about being your own boss is you're your own boss. The worst thing about being your own boss is you're your own boss. So I have to keep accountability and ask for help with other people. And so what's next is continue to build Genius Network, continue to run my groups, because I love that. And more than anything, I have a new book called Joe's Marketing Book. The Average Joe's Marketing Book, actually. The website is joesmarketingbook.com, but Average Joe's Marketing Book, that's going to come out soon. And then I have Genius Recovery, which is, that'll be geniusrecovery.com. And we're going to literally bring, the best we can in the genius areas. And we're going to share that with the world and not only hopefully reduce suffering, but save lives. And, just continue to inspire and encourage people as best I can, and, keep myself in good shape and share the message. So
2 more questions and I'm finished.
Okay.
And we'll keep them sweet and short. Someone just started finished uni or just lost their job, mid-40s. What is the best advice you would give them to kind of move forward, reinvent themselves?
Boy, if you just lost your job, first off, you don't want to be in a worry state. Like in Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, 2 amazing books. What I would do is get yourself in a confident state and take action. Okay, you can sit. What am I worrying about? Is the question. What am I worrying about? Because what keeps people from doing stuff and taking actions is they've lost their confidence. And 2 things that entrepreneurs really need to protect is they need to protect their confidence, because you just operate better in life in a state of confidence, and their gratitude, having gratitude for what it is you have. So if you've just lost your job and you're in a desperate situation, then you have to make yourself resourceful. And so there's resources readily available to you in the area that you already have expertise in. So you may need to immediately go back into that sort of skill set or position. If you know how to solve problems, there are what is a entrepreneur? Like the original definition of an entrepreneur, 1804, John Baptiste Say said, it was the first time they used the word entrepreneur in recorded history that we have documentation of, said an entrepreneur is an individual who takes resources from a lower level of productivity to a higher level. So start thinking like an entrepreneur. How do you solve problems for a profit? So you have a skill set, you can solve problems. Who has those problems that will pay you money to solve those things? If I lost my job and I had skills, I would go to someone and say, I will work for you for free for a week, for 2 weeks. Give me your number one problem in this area that I know how to solve. If I can solve it, you pay me or you hire me. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go out and do resumes. I wouldn't go beg for jobs. I would say, find someone that has something that I can solve, and I'll just solve it. I won't talk about how I can solve it. I won't write up a resume, which is basically a bunch of lies for most people of trying to position themselves. I would say, give me something to solve and let me go to work at it. Most entrepreneurs or business owners would be like, God, this person's showing up. You're going to do an interview with Dean Graziosi, who's brilliant. And he has a couple of people that have come to him and that have said, Dean, I want to hang around you because Dean's smart. This guy's built over $1 billion brand. They want to hang around him. They're smart enough to show up and say, I'll work for you for free, prove myself. And then you know what Dean does? If they prove themselves, he hires them and he pays them more money than if they were going to go out and get a regular job. So I would look at it that way. That's one thing I do. And secondly, I would just probably watch all the interviews that you've done, start studying people, because people like me and other people can hopefully kick your inspiration in the gear. And when you're in a motivated, inspiring state, you're going to go out there, kick ass and take names and ask for help. You know, call your friends, say, who's my genius network? Who can guide me and direct me to resources that are going to make my life better?
Thank you. My last question, Joe, what would you like your legacy many, many years from now to be?
That this guy was one of the catalysts that helped change the global conversation about how people view addicts, and we sped up the decades of suffering and because addiction and the way we treat addicts is the modern form of human slavery. It is global. This is not just an American thing. Racism, wars, all of this stuff. I mean, if you really want to do research, you can see that even Nazi Germany, which created crystal meth in the 1930s and were giving it to the entire German army, including Hitler, when he was doing those motivational speeches, he was high as a kite. There's a lot of data that could even be argued that World War II was fueled by addiction. Addiction kills people. It murders people. It is painful. It is self-destructive. All of these lifestyle diseases, all these conditions, so much of it is caused by addiction. And the difficult thing is I want people to understand that addiction is actually a solution. It's a bad solution, but if you're in pain, it will get you out of pain, but it may kill you. It may ruin your life. It may ruin your relationship. It may ruin your health. You may lose everything, but it is a solution. And if people start understanding that these are not bad people, although addicts lie, cheat, and steal, and do bad things, most of the people that doing these things are in pain. And if we can understand that, we would approach the way we treat physical, mental pain. We would start being more compassionate to people with mental illnesses. We would start treating people better, and we would literally raise the economy, raise the health. And so I don't care if I get credited for this stuff. There's a ton of people that are on this fight with me that want to do it. I just want to be a catalyst and know that, you know, I helped reduce suffering for people. When I die, the world's going to be fine. I mean, it'll go on without me. It'll have its problems, it'll have its good things, it'll have its bad things. I just hope that I can add some sunshine and some capabilities and skills to people. And that's what I'm on a mission to do as best I can.
You're doing a great job so far, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Joe. Thank you. And thank you for watching Inspiring People. Thank you very much.
The Best You TV.
Hi, I'm Bernardo Moya,
a TV
founder
channel
of
with
The Best
only
You.
the best business
Are
leaders
you a
and
motivational
influencers ready
speaker,
to help
an
you?
author, a therapist, a coach, or a business guru trying to raise your profile and reach a global audience? At The Best You, we've been building our brand for many years, helping those in the world of personal development get their message out there through The Best You Expos, The Best You Magazine, and The Best You Online. And now we're looking to grow our community even more. We've recently launched The Best You TV, available on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. So now by partnering with us, you can get your show on The Best You TV, you can contribute to The Best You Magazine, add your courses to The Best You Online, and join us at one of the Best You virtual expos happening around the world. Expand your brand and join a growing community that believes that everyone deserves a life without limits. People from all over the world are seeking inspiration, looking for answers, looking for ways to become the best version of themselves. And The Best You is launching in 2021 the Best TV series, a place where we will feature the best speakers, coaches, authors, and mentors. Leaders in their own rights, Innovators, influencers, inspirers of the 21st century. Coming soon to the Best You TV.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Are you in the personal development world trying to reach a larger audience? Are you a motivational speaker, an author, therapist, coach, or business guru tired of pushing out content with little results? Gain more clients and expand your business today. Get your show or content on The Best You TV.
I was watching a DVD of Sid Banks, who's a Scottish welder who got enlightened and was sort of the philosopher behind what I do. And he just said something so simple that I'd heard before. But he said, every human being has innate mental health. And I was drinking a beer while he said it, and I, like out the nose. I don't know why, but I heard him. I got that was true even about me. And that was that moment I talked about at the beginning where I went, oh, I've spent all this time trying to not be depressed. And my second book, I was literally 10 days away from going out on tour to promote it, which was all about how to do stuff to handle your depression. And I suddenly saw beyond a shadow of a doubt, I was born happy. We were all, no, babies don't need therapy. We learn to be unhappy. And the truth is, the second we stop thinking the way that we've learned to think, we're right back to the default. That was both the best news I had ever had, because it meant I wasn't damaged and didn't need fixing. It was more like waking up from a dream. Like even if you have a nightmare, you don't have to go back after you wake up and fix what happened in it. I just woke up. And it was terrible because I was about to be on a book tour promoting something that I could now see was fundamentally incorrect. So I got through that. But I was never the same and my work was never the same because I could never look at somebody and see them as broken anymore. And I'd paid lip service to that. I mean, I'd said, oh yeah, you're not broken, you just have bad programming. But I hadn't seen how fundamental it was in me that I was broken and how fundamental it is in so many of us that, well, yeah, we can become higher and higher functioning, but underneath it all, it's still pretty turmoil, still pretty messed up. And it I don't have a better word for it than blessing and grace. It was a blessing. It was grace to have that taken away from me, to see that that wasn't real. And what was beautiful about it was because it didn't come through a particular religious practice, I was able to talk to anyone about it. I didn't have to say, join this religion and then it will be taken off you. Because obviously we've heard stories like that. It was just through a deeper understanding of the mind. And I've just been committed to that work ever since. And the new book, The Inside Out Revolution, that's my first real attempt at going full out. Like Super Coach, I talked about what I'd learned from it in a way. In this book, I've just shared what it is I saw. And I hope, I know actually, because it's already happening, that other people will get to have that same experience.
Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast-track your career now. The Best You Online. Featuring in-depth interviews, motivational talks, and inspiring masterclasses from the world's top experts, motivational speakers, business gurus, and thought leaders. Leaders and influencers from all over the world are here to share their knowledge and skills with you. With over 500 speakers, The Best You Online is a priceless mine of personal development wisdom, knowledge, and practical information to help you take charge of your life and take you, your business, and career beyond where you have always wanted to go. The Best You Online